Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are reading a new story called Rouge. It is another Naruto fan fiction written by Hiken here and here. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I want to start the story because I already read one chapter and it's already amazing. Alright, let's go. Chapter 1. Naruto and Sasuke stood on top of the statues in the Valley of the End, both with their signature jutsus in their hands. Naruto with the Rasengan and Sasuke with Chidori. Naruto still had his wound in the chest, made by Sasuke, open and was bleeding out of it. Keeping his posture, Naruto glared at his considered best friend on the other side of the valley. Taking one moment, both of them launched at each other, the jutsus leading way until both clashed into each other, creating a sphere of destruction, which caused quakes on the ground and made water that was flowing vaporize. As the sphere started to disappear, two nearly lifeless bodies fell to the ground next to each other, flat on their backs. Both of them had sustained injuries, Naruto's hole becoming a bit bigger with a lot of cuts on his torso and arms, making his bleeding more intense, while Sasuke had a few deep cuts in his chest and abdomen. They both laid there, not being able to speak one word or even move a muscle as they just stood there, rain dropping hard on their bodies. A few minutes later passed as a group of medics came to the place that the disaster had taken place. As they approached the two, they immediately rushed to Sasuke, treating his wounds and healing them with their power, making his bleeding stop. After they were done with him, one of the medics put him over his shoulder. "What about the other one?" asked one of the medics, looking at Naruto. "Let that demon die. The village is better without him," said the second medic. "Yeah, a lot have died because of this demon, and we nearly lost our Uchiha. Let him choke on his own blood," said the last medic, giving Naruto a hard kick on the ribs, blood spitting out his blood. "Okay, let's go before the Uchiha state gets worse," said the medic, with Sasuke on his shoulders. And with that, they left the Valley of the End, leaving Naruto there in a pool of blood. Soon the group met Kakashi, who was coming their way. "Where's Naruto?" He asked immediately, not seeing the blonde around. "He escaped as we arrived there as the rain hit his tracks. We were not able to find him, but we managed to save the Uchiha," said the first medic to Kakashi, whose expression didn't seem to change to sad. "Oh, let him go where he wants. The village doesn't need him," said Kakashi, grabbing Sasuke from the medic and turning towards the village, followed by the medic. When they asked in the village what happened here, they say that Naruto died but couldn't find their body. "Understood?" "We say that Naruto died but couldn't find his body." "Understood?" said Kakashi with a sharp voice, as the medic just nodded with their heads. Meanwhile, with Naruto couldn't believe what just happened. The village he swore to protect had just bailed him, letting him die. A tear fell on his cheek as he thought about everyone that he loved: Iruka, Sakura, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and everyone else, thinking he would never see them. As he closed his eyes, peacefully waiting for his death to come. "Hey kid, keep your eyes open, and don't you dare die," said a loud voice inside his head, which belonged to the Kyuubi. "What do you want, furball?" replied Naruto. "If I die, I die too, remember? Now wake up and show me some life that's left in you," said Kyuubi, crying in the cell bars that held him locked. "What life should I show? The one where my village betrayed me. Guess what? That's about to end. At least you'll be reborn after a while," said Naruto. I won't allow this to happen. I won't allow you to die, kid. After this, you owe me big time, said Kyuubi as he started pushing all his chakra through the bars and into Naruto. The power he was sending through was a bit too much, at a limit where the seal couldn't hold back anymore, and the gates of his prison bursted open, letting him roam free in his mind. He yet started to transmit chakra into Naruto. "What are you doing, Kyuubi?" said Naruto before he screamed from the intense chakra entering his body. "I'm merging with you, kid. This will either kill you or save your lives. And at your state, you've got nothing to lose," said Kyuubi. Naruto continued screaming in pain. Even though his wound was healing, the overdose of chakra was creating more pain he felt before. Soon after, the chakra stream ended, and now Kyuubi was strength at a point he looked like a dog, more like a mighty creature. After a few moments, Naruto's body started to move again as he got up on his 2 feet. Taking a look at his body, he realized that merging had caused some changes on him. He was now a bit taller than he was before, and his muscles more defined now and filled. Walking to a puddle of water, he took a look at his face. His hair was now darker in a shade of red, not completely like Gaara, but a shade of orange and red. His eyes were dark blue, and his fangs stood out more. He touched his face to prove that it was real. "Kyuubi, what did you do to me?" asked Naruto. "I saved your life. You owe me a big honor after this." "Anyway, we should get back to the village," said Naruto as he started walking. "We can't go back there. At least not yet," the Kyuubi said, making Naruto stop. "What do you have in mind?" said Naruto. "First, you should train in your new body and powers and get stronger. I will personally train you. I would personally train you, and when we go back there, you will be ready. Until then, you do and act as I said," said Kyuubi sharply. "Where do we go now?" said Naruto. "Follow my directions, and I will show you a place we can live and train in peace," said the Kyuubi. With that clear, Naruto grabbed his headband with the Konoha sign on it. Grabbing a kunai, he drew a line across the symbol and put it on his forehead. He followed the Kyuubi's instructions and started walking the way he was told to. Konoha gates. Kakashi and everyone else from the mission returned to Konoha, where they were awaited by a large group of doctors and ninjas. As soon as they got to the gates, the doctors rushed, grabbing everyone injured and putting them into carts, dragging them to the hospital. Kakashi put Sasuke on a cart which Sakura escorted to the hospital with a smile on her face. Immediately in front of him appeared Tsunade and Hinata. "Kakashi, where's Naruto?" demanded Tsunade from Kakashi. "I'm sorry, Lady Hokage. We lost Naruto. His body was nowhere to be found, and no signs of him except a large pool of blood." Tsunade's eyes watered with tears, and Hinata immediately lost it and fainted, falling to the ground lifeless with only one sentence leaving her lips: "Naruto is dead." Alright, second chapter. Unlike other videos, now I'll be reading multiple chapters in one episode, since I'm naming them episodes, not by chapter. Seems like... Alright, chapter 2 start. Kyuubi, are we there yet? Said Naruto after nearly a day of just walking the directions that were told by the Kyuubi. "We're nearly dead now. All you have to do is to walk across this small sea here," said Kyuubi as he lay down on the floor of Naruto's mindscape for a nap. Why would I walk across the sea? Said Naruto, taking his first steps on the water. Because I said so, said Kyuubi as he closed his eyes. Naruto just sighed as he complied and continued his journey. After a few more hours, he finally saw land on the horizon. Being bored of walking, he rushed to it, running ahead to his destination. In a matter of minutes, his feet was on solid ground, and he inhaled the air. Wake up, Furball! We're here, I think, said Kyuubi, waking the beast up. Yeah, so it seems. Now it's time to begin, said Kyuubi, getting full awake, and doing some stretching. He flashed a smirk as he succeeded into bringing Naruto where he wanted him. 3.5 years later, Konoha. A figure of a hood covering his eyes and long black coat around his body, without being noticed by the guard at the gate, entered the village of Konoha. Keeping a low profile, he wandered around the streets of Konoha, noticing that very little has changed, except the faces of the villagers looked happier than the last time he was there. Keeping the walk, he reached his favorite attraction in the whole village, Ichiraku's ramen stand. Chuckling a bit, he kept walking, not thinking it was the right time to stop there. Soon after that, while he was walking by a bar, his eyes caught a familiar yet still unfamiliar face. The dark blue hair and the pale eyes reminded him of somebody, but that person he was looking at was nothing the same as the one he remembered. He also noticed in the booth she was standing were a couple of empty sake bottles, and she was filling a cup with more. He decided to approach her, pushing the bar doors open and entering it. He soon made his way to that specific booth. Mind if I join you? Said Naruto to the girl. Sure, have a seat, said the girl, pointing at the free place across her. Thank you, said Naruto, sitting down. So what brings a stranger like you to a shitty place like this? Said the girl, downing yet another cup of sake. Oh, just some business I have to take care of, said Naruto, grabbing his sake bottle and filling a cup for himself. Whatever you have to do here, finish it fast and leave this place. This place is corrupted and bullshit as it gets, said the girl to the hooded stranger. And what makes you say that? You could just be drunk from all the alcohol you consumed, said Naruto as he took another shot of sake. Oh, I say it because this village killed the one person I loved with all my life. And yet they just forget him, like he was garbage, while he spent his entire life protecting this village, said the girl, sadness and anger taken over by her body. Sorry to say that, but who was the guy you loved? Asked Naruto, curious. His name was Naruto Uzumaki, said the girl loud enough to earn looks from the others at the mention of that name. He thought everybody hated him in the village, yet here was a girl who loved him. If you don't mind, could you tell me your name? Wanting to conclude his thoughts about who this girl may be. My name is Hinata, just Hinata. I no longer have a surname, so don't ask. Everything came into place in Naruto's mind. The woman that loved him all the time was the heir to the Hyuga clan, Hinata Hyuga. But why would she love him of all people? Leaving some cash on the table for the drinks, he grabbed her hand, and with a bat of an eye, they were far away from the bar into a forest. Hinata took a defensive position immediately, as the man in front of her did nothing but walk straight to her, his hands up. Relax, not here to hurt you, said Naruto as he slowly approached her. Then why did you bring me here? The only logical possibility is to kill me, said Hinata, her stance wobbly from all the alcohol. And plus, if I wanted to kill you, what makes you think I wouldn't have done it already? I promise I won't do anything, but first let me get this alcohol out of your system. And And how would you do that, and why? Oh, because I want to sober. For what? I would tell you. I would do it like this. Naruto said, teleporting behind her and immediately pressing a point on her back with a bit of force, making her throw up immediately. When she was done puking, she stood up, wiping her mouth with a handkerchief. When she was done, she looked straight into the mysterious guy. What do you want me to tell you now? I am sober. Instead of talking, he pushed his hood behind and undid the button of his coat, letting it fall to the ground. Don't you recognize me? Said Naruto as he pushed his arms wide open, flexing his muscles. Naruto took a look at the guy. His hair was dark orange, his eyes were dark blue, but they looked very familiar to her. She moved closer, seeing 3 whisker marks on each of his cheeks. She knew in all her life that only one guy had those whisker marks. But it couldn't be him. He was dead. You look like the guy I loved, but you can't be him since he's dead. Just who are you? Maybe this mark will tell it for me, said Naruto, lifting up his shirt, showing a spiral seal on his stomach, standing on top of his hard muscles. No, it can't be. No, this is an illusion of my mind. You are dead, and I have gone crazy. My mind is playing tricks with me, said Hinata, grabbing a hold of her head and falling to the ground. This is no illusion, Hinata. It really is me. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said, putting his hands on her shoulders and pulling her closer to him. Feeling a sob on her shirt, he moved his arms around her, rubbing her back as she continued crying in his shoulder. After some time, she stopped and lifted her face and looked at him. Why didn't you come back immediately? She said, her eyes red from crying. Well, if I came back at that time, the ones who left me for dead would have finished their job on me, he said, holding her close. But where have you been all this time? She asked yet again. I was trading at a place far away, which I learned that belonged to me, said Naruto. It doesn't matter anymore. You are back, she said, hugging him. I won't be here for long. I will leave as soon as I finish my job here. But when I leave, would you do something for me? Said Naruto, lifting his chin to be face to face. I will do anything for you, she said, confident. I want you to come live with me to the place where I and some other people like me live, said Naruto, caressing her wet cheek from her tears. I will gladly come. This village screwed with me too, not just you, not just because of that, she said, snuggling on his neck. Thank you, Hinata, for agreeing to it, he said, looking her in the eyes, and for loving me, he said, leaning to her until their faces was just a millimeter apart. They stood just like that for a bit until they both leaned at once, their lips locking on a simple yet passionate kiss. The kiss continued as Naruto didn't move her bangs from her chest, noticing something he wished he didn't. He immediately stopped the kiss, moving away just to look at her as she hung her head down. Why did you do that? Said Naruto, his fist clenching in anger. After your death, I was broken. I had no power for training or fighting. My father started to beat me and to make me train harder until I hit him back once and decided to leave the clan. In order for me to leave, they sealed my Byakugan with the birdcage seal. Now I have no surname and I can't use my Byakugan, said Hinata, her eyes watering again. I will fucking kill that bastard, along with everyone that had a finger on leaving me there. I promise you that, said Naruto, embracing her in his arms. And I'll find a way to take that seal away from you, finished Naruto, as he kissed her again. They stood like that for a while, until Naruto decided it was getting late and he had to leave. You can't leave, Hinata interrupted him. I can't just go around the village and look for a place to stay. I need to stay outside somewhere in an inn, he said, putting his cape on. I wouldn't mind if you stayed at my place, said Hinata, blushing and stuttering again, a thing she hadn't done in 3 years. I don't want to disturb you, said Naruto to her. It's okay. I live alone, so I have plenty of space in my apartment, said Hinata, blushing again. If you say so, I can't refuse your invitation, said Naruto, kissing her cheek and grabbing her in his arms. He soon teleported on top of the fourth Hokage's face on the Hokage mountain. Now point where your apartment is, he said to Hinata as she did so, pointing southwest of the village to an apartment with a balcony on it. She gripped her tight and teleported again to that balcony. He let her go so she could open the door for them to enter. As they got inside, Naruto's stomach growled. Rubbing on it, he admitted that he was hungry. Hinata took her apron and put it on, immediately cooking dinner for the two of them. As she was cooking, he took permission from her to use the shower. After he took a long shower, the food was already finished as he got out the bathroom with a towel around his waist, leaving his upper body exposed. When he walked into the living room, he got the attention of Hinata as she started blushing red, staring at his perfect muscles. What surprised her was that he had several kanji writings on his arms and chest, which seemed to be connected to each other in a way. She shook her head from those dots, and after Naruto got dressed, they ate their meal together. Now it was late, and it was time to go to sleep. They were thinking about how they were going to sleep until Naruto spoke. I will take the couch for the night. You can sleep in your room, said Naruto. Actually, my bed is big enough to fit 2 people in there. We can just split it. It will be more comfortable, said Hinata, blushing as she thought she would be sleeping with Naruto. Fine then, you can go ahead and change first. I will wait here until you give me the signal that you are ready, said Naruto as he sat on the couch leg. Okay, I will, she said, and got inside her room, closing the door from behind. Oh my god, not only Naruto is not dead, but I gotta kiss him, and now I'm sleeping with him, said Hinata to herself as she undressed with excitement. Calm down, Hinata. It's not like we're gonna do anything. He just needs a place to stay. She lightly slapped herself. She took her daily clothes off as she took a nightwear dress from the closet, putting it on top of her underwear. She looked in the mirror for a moment, doing her hair a bit. She blushed tomato red as she undoing her bra and pulling it away, placing it on her dresser. She soon opened the door and let Naruto, who already changed into his shorts and a tank top. As the door opened, Naruto got a look at Hinata, whose body was on clear view to him. Turning to the side, he cleared a nosebleed that was caused by this view, while fighting an erection from it rising. Naruto got into the bed first, covering her body with covers, as Naruto followed her, getting on the other side of the bed, right behind Hinata. As he turned to face her, Hinata kept her back towards him. He stared, closing his eyes, when he felt her getting closer to him, snuggling in between his arms. Cracking a smile, he pulled her closer, wrapping his arms around her, giving her a kiss to the cheek. Good night, Hinata, said Naruto. Good night to you, too, Naruto, sighed in happiness Hinata as she closed her eyes to sleep. Not taking long, Hinata was sound asleep, with a happy face on her, but Naruto, on the other hand, couldn't sleep. He was thinking all the time about a plan on how to find who had a hand on his betrayal and how to take the birdcage seal away from Hinata. Alright, chapter 2 was ended. I'm just gonna go check out how long the video is right now. I'm just gonna go read one more, alright? Alright guys, let me go read one more chapter. Chapter 3, let's go. Naruto was the first to wake up. He opened his eyes, recognizing the different surroundings around him. He felt weird on his chest. Looking down, he saw Hinata, her head on his chest, sleeping calmly and seemed happy. Swiftly pulling a pillow under her head, he moved away from the bed, leaving her in the bedroom, moving to the living room. He decided to thank Hinata for her hospitality and decided to cook her a breakfast. With that, he moved to the kitchen and got the materials he needed and started cooking. Hinata opened her eyes, finding the place where Naruto used to be last night empty, only a pillow instead of him. She got up wondering if all that happened yesterday was only a dream for her. Thinking that it probably was, her face saddened, and she was about to break down until her nose picked up a good smell coming from the kitchen. She got up, following the scent which led her to the kitchen. She found Naruto putting the dishes on the table. She immediately rushed to him, hugging him from behind tightly, as she didn't want to let go of him for a second more. "Good morning, Hinata," said Naruto. "I decided to cook as a thank you for last night. I thought yesterday was a dream when I didn't find you near me. I was scared I lost you again," said Hinata, tightening her grip around him as her eyes started to water. "I won't leave you again, Hinata. I promised you that," said Naruto, turning around and looking at her. Now stop crying and let's see. Oh, it will get cold," said Naruto, kissing her forehead and leading her to the chair. They sat down and ate. Naruto couldn't believe how good he cooked. She enjoyed every bit of her meal and finished the whole dish. "Why did you learn to cook like this?" "I was alone for some time, so I had to figure out how to survive," said Naruto as he too finished his dish. "Will you tell me what you did these 3.5 years away?" said Hinata. "All in good time. I will tell you everything, but not now," said Naruto as he picked up his dishes and put them into the sink. "I'm going to take a shower. You don't have to do the dishes. I will do them later," said Hinata, as she moved to her bedroom, then to the bathroom. Soon, running water was heard. Meanwhile, Naruto made a clone and put him on doing the dishes, as he himself opened a map of Konoha and started to analyze it. He checked where the archive was and checked the distance between Hinata's place in the archive. He was thinking of a way to get there unnoticed and come back here, not wanting to trigger any unwanted attention. That place was surely guarded by dozens of Ambu guards. As he was distracted, thinking of a plan, a pair of arms was wrapped around him. He lifted his head to see Hinata on a bathrobe and her hair wrapped in a towel. "What are you doing with this?" said Hinata, looking over the map. "I am planning on breaking into the city archive, but I want the body count to 0 and make it stealthily as possible. But I can't think of a way on how to do it," said Naruto as he looked at the map. "Well, you were the most stealthy person in Konoha, and think about it. How did you evade getting caught?" said Hinata to him with a smile. "Transformation jutsu," said Naruto, getting up and hugging Hinata. "Hinata, you are a genius," said Naruto, pulling her close, kissing her on the lips. He kissed her deeply, and his hands taking a towel around her hair away, letting them down over his shoulder. Playing with her hair, their kiss continued until they needed air for lungs. and they needed air for their lungs. "Thank you, Hinata," said Naruto, giving her one last peck at her lips. "Glad I could help." "When do you plan on doing this?" said Hinata. "Tonight," said Naruto as his face got serious. 8 p.m. Naruto put a black hoodie on as he was ready to leave. Putting the hoodie over his head, he headed towards the archive. He bounced from rooftop to rooftop, soon being a building away from where he needed to be. He observed the place for a bit, noticing a lot of ninjas going in and out. It sure had to be the shift switching time. He noticed as a ninja coming the archive way alone, passing by an alleyway. Deciding this was his time, he teleported to a dark alley, waiting for him to pass by. As soon as he did, Naruto acted fast, immediately grabbing the ninja in a vise and closing his mouth. He slowly passed out. Undressing him, Naruto transformed into the naked form of the unknown ninja and put on his clothes. Checking his pockets, he found the ID card he needed to enter the archive. "Sorry, pal, you will wake up with no idea what happened. Don't worry," said Naruto as he left the alley and entered the archive building. Going inside, he stopped on a small window where a guardian stood on the other side. "ID, please," said the guardian. Naruto showed it to him. "Pass. You are on mission archive today," said the guardian. "Bingo," thought Naruto as he proceeded forward. Moving along, he'd follow the line which led to the mission archives. Opening a door, he entered it, seeing thousands of boxes filled with files. Looking through the years of the boxes, he found the line of boxes with the year of his death. Of his quote-unquote death. Making a dozen of clones, he put on the door for any incoming alert as he and others went through the files. After nearly 1 hour of searching and piles of paper on the ground, he found the file, which in contrary of the others was sealed, and the last one hadn't been due. "This has to be the one," said Naruto, as he picked up the file and started to leave. He made the clones disappear, and a few ninjas was coming his way to the room he was in. Left with no choice, he teleported away to this alley that he had knocked out the ninja. Putting the clothes off and throwing them on top of the ninja, he transformed back to himself and fled the pace with the speed. Right after he hit an alarm hit the place. After a minute, he was in front of Hinata's door as he knocked and she opened, letting him in. As soon as he did, he closed the door behind him and shut the curtains closed. "What happened, Naruto?" said Hinata concerned. "They found about the mess I made in the archive, possibly for the unconscious body outside, but found what I was looking for," said Naruto as he put the file on the table. "But it's sealed. How would you open it?" said Hinata, pointing at the file. "I have improved since last time. I can deal with seals," Naruto said. Concentrating, he started doing dozens of hand signs, and finally stopping on the tiger sign, he pushed some chakra out, making the seal slowly disappear from the file. When it was fully disappeared, he picked up the file and opened it. "What is it, Naruto?" said Hinata. "The pages, they are blank," said Naruto. "What?" said Hinata as she took the pages. They really were blank. It was all for nothing, said Naruto as he sat down on the couch, desperate. But why would they seal a blank file? Said Hinata, looking at the pages. "I don't know. I accomplished nothing," said Naruto, angry, hitting a candle on the table and knocking it near one of the blank papers. "Naruto, look," said Hinata, pointing at the paper near the still flaming candle. Naruto got closer and couldn't believe what he was seeing. Words were starting to appear on the blank paper. He picked up the paper and looked at it as it was filled with words. "Hand me the other paper," said Naruto as he grabbed the candle in one hand. Hinata handed him one paper after another as Naruto held them above the fire, making it everywhere appear on it. Even some smaller photos, which appeared to be photos of everyone involved in the mission, came to visibility. He stacked them together and put them on top of the table. "Finally, I have what I need," said Naruto as he picked up the papers. "You want to read them now? It would be better if you did it in the morning," said Hinata, concerned about how it would affect Naruto. "I have waited for this moment in years. I could wait a night," said Naruto, putting the papers into the file and hiding it in the kitchen. "We will do it together in the morning, but now you need some rest. Come on," said Hinata, grabbing his hand, pulling him towards the bedroom. "I need to change first," said Naruto. "You can change here, just no peeking," said Hinata with a chuckle. "Sure, if you don't take a peek too," said Naruto, making Hinata blush. They started changing, both being in underwear after a while. Hinata put a baggy shirt over her underwear until they both got into the bedroom and covered it with blankets. "Good night, Naruto," said Hinata, facing him. "Come here, you," said Naruto, grabbing her, putting her on top of him. He held her for a moment, looking at her beautiful face as he slowly leaned on her, locking his lips with hers, moving their lips in a perfect sync. Naruto licked and nipped her lower lips, asking permission to enter her mouth. She allowed it and opened her lips, and she felt his tongue enter her mouth. Having his tongue explore her mouth, their tongues met, wrapping around each other, having a little battle, rolling each other around. Naruto was on top now, moving his hands on her waist. He pushed up under her shirt a bit, letting his hands enter underwear, having a devious smile. Moving his hands higher, he explored her upper body until his hands were on her breast. She gave him a light squeeze, making her release a moan. He wanted to do it again, but Hinata stopped the kiss and pushed him a bit, making him stop. "I don't want to rush anything. Sorry, Naruto," said Hinata as she caught her breath. "No, it's my fault. I got carried away," said Naruto, giving her a kiss. "It's okay," said Hinata with a smile. "Good night, Hinata." "Good night." Alright, goodbye guys. Subscribe to my channel, yay!